there is a lot happening right now in conference realignment. A lot happened on Friday. And on Friday morning, it looked like maybe Oregon and Washington were going to stay in the Pac-12. Maybe Arizona was not going to sign with the Big 12, and they were going to come back to the Pac-12 with Oregon and Washington stayed, if they stayed. But then, like, within the next hour, things started to rapidly happen. And is rapidly a word? Whatever. Things started to happen. And Oregon and Washington, they go to the Big 10. So now the conference, there's like nothing really left. I mean, Oregon is a huge school. Washington's a big school as well with the Pac-12. USC, UCLA have already gone, obviously, to the Big 10. And now Oregon, Washington joining them. So Arizona State, and Utah, they're like, why are we staying in this conference? So they go to the Big 12. And now that leaves the Pac-12 as a Pac-4. Because the Pac-12 is not a conference right now, really. Washington State, Oregon State, Cal, and Stanford are the only 4 teams left. So I think what this could do is benefit San Diego State. Now, obviously, you would think that what we wanted, right, was San Diego State, right? They earned it, Pac-12 invite, if the media deal would get done, and they'd get to be in the same conference as Oregon and Stanford and all these bigger schools, right? Like they get to be a part of the actual Pac-12. But now that's not going to happen. So what could happen now is the Pac-12 merge with the Mountain West, and Mark Ziegler wrote about this in the San Diego Union Tribune here recently. They could merge. Now, maybe not all Mountain West schools end up being a part of it, like the smaller, lesser teams, but Mountain West and San Diego State, obviously, they're the premier program in the Mountain West, so they'd be a big part of this merger if it were to happen. They could merge Stanford, Cal, Washington State, Oregon State, San Diego State, Fresno State, Boise State, more teams as well. Maybe add a team on the outside as well. And they could, I don't know if you would call it the Pac-12 still or the Pac whatever, how many teams would end up being in it. Maybe they make a new name, but maybe San Diego State would be in a Power 5 now. Like maybe this conference, this whatever new conference this might be, or maybe these teams just go to the Mountain West. I don't know. But whatever conference this is, this could be a Power 5 school, San Diego State could be, without having to pay the $17 million exit fee and have to wait for an invite if an invite ever came from the Pac-12. Now they could, maybe benefit from not having to pay the big exit fee and all that. So we'll see. I think San Diego State, it's unfortunate, right? Like the position that they put themselves in, they were in a good position to go to the Pac-12 and they earned it. But that's not going to happen. But still, I think they're in a fine position wherever this goes, because it's not like the Pac-12's going to be a thing. Like, it's just not happening. In San Diego State, they're the premier program in the Mountain West. And I think a merger could happen between the remaining 4 teams in the Pac-12, so the Pac-4, and the best teams in the Mountain West. And again, maybe they take some other schools and other conferences. But San Diego State would be a huge part of that, right? Huge. So I think they're in a good spot. And for anyone that thinks that San Diego State, like, they're at fault in any way here, they're not. Like, I think that maybe they shouldn't have done the whole letter thing, right? Like the paper trail, we intend to leave the conference, because, that got Mountain West pissed off, and then they had to pay some extra money. They never left, so they're still in the Mountain West, but maybe that wasn't the best, but that doesn't have anything to do with what happened with the Pac-12 and that thing dissolving, that thing just crumbling. San Diego State, it's not like they could just walk up to the Pac-12 commissioner or other schools in the Pac-12 and be like, we want in. They have to get an invite. And there was no invite coming for San Diego State until a media rights deal was going to get done. And there was no media rights deal going to get done because schools in the Pac-12, they didn't like the instability of that. They didn't like that mostly it was going to be streaming and no one was going to be paying attention to the conference. So they said, all right, we're done. We're out. Other teams are already leaving. Other schools they're already leaving. So we're gone. And this is what has happened. So the Mountain West, they have a TV deal. They, CBS Sports and all that, like they have it. So they're in a better spot than the remaining teams in the Pac-4 are, so it's a lot has happened recently, and it sucks for San Diego State because we all thought we were envisioning, Pac-12 and getting to be in the same conference as Oregon and all that. Like I was excited about that, but that's not going to happen. Maybe they end up in the same conference as Stanford, and that would be cool. But yeah, the Pac-12, not how we envisioned that happening. Like 6 months ago or something, where we thought, yeah, San Diego State, good spot that they're in. Well, Pac-12 is it's not a thing anymore.